Hey, it's Noelle from Country Credits. I'm here with Levon Gray, a songwriter commonly known for his hit with Kane Brown, One Mississippi. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing great too. Thanks so much for joining us. So I figured we'd start just like any other interview that I do and jump back to your childhood and what it was like growing up, how you got into country music. I know it wasn't always country music for you. So yeah, if you want to fill us in.
Well, I'm from Mobile, Alabama. Um, Born and raised there, never lived anywhere else until I got to Nashville and we wrote one Mississippi. But I grew up in a very interesting environment because I the product of an interracial marriage back in times where it wasn't quite as common. Um, and we had like Jamaican neighbors. I grew up in a area full of Vietnamese people. And in my when I was in middle school, my sister married a man from Cuba, so I ended up becoming friends with him and all his family. I grew up in a very multicultural environment where all kind of music was played. I've been singing in the church since I was about 9.
Nice.
I actually did that for a living for years. I
I
used to be
read
a
that somewhere. That is so cool.
I used to be a worship pastor, and it I was just my as far as music and it was always just all genres. My mama used to sing me Patsy Cline songs, and my dad used to play like he played a lot of Bob Marley. I'm a huge Bob Marley fan.
Nice.
Michael Jackson, James Brown, Steve Miller Band, the Eagles, like just all kind of wide array of music. It's that's why like I know a wide array of stuff, but I don't know like everything about everybody
Right.
because everything was so spread out and just scattered. But I actually fell in love with country music as a teenager. I used to kind of laugh at it with the majority of the other black kids that didn't listen to it. And being from Alabama, it was always around. And I remember I was a sophomore in high school, and me and this little girl liked each other, and she was a country music fan. And she was like, "You like to write songs. I really think you would appreciate this if you gave it a chance." I'm like, "Okay." And I tried listening to my local country station one evening, and I'm like, "Okay, it's not too bad. I think I'll change it now." I
Wow.
would turn. This is like 2006, so I had a dial on the radio, and
Right.
I would turn the dial, but the station didn't change. And literally for about a 24-hour period, my radio would not change off of the local country station. And,
What?
and by the next day, I was singing along to most of the songs that were in rotation, like the top 20,
Yeah.
and it changed my life. Ever since I was about 15 years old, I had a dream of being a country music artist, but back then it said I sounded too R&B. And so I kind of just gave up on that idea and tried to pursue more R&B sounding music. And I just so happened to randomly change course. And I'm like, I'm not one of those people who fell in love with country music because of Old Town Road. And no disrespect to anybody who actually discovered country music because of that whole deal. But I had been a fan for years, and I just decided that it's cool to be like me now. It's cool to be different. And that that first song I'd written in like 10 years ended up, Kane Brown responded to it, and I ended up being invited to Nashville, and now I'm a professional songwriter.
That's
it's,
great. Okay,
it's a
so
lot.
when you say the first song, are you referring to One Mississippi or are you referring to something else?
It's another song. It's called You and Only You. It's one of my songs.
Wow.
I didn't understand about publishing deals and like being a signed songwriter.
Hmm.
I was just doing my best to break myself as an independent artist.
Wow.
And Kane was like, "Do you write songs? Did you write this by yourself?" And I was like, "Yeah, lyrically, I did. I didn't do the track, but I wrote the whole song." And he was like, send me some more stuff. And he was like, well, dude, I want you to come to Nashville and write with me in a couple of weeks and be coming up with some ideas. And number one could change your life. And the first idea I came up with was One Mississippi. And it sounded different than the record that came to be, but the idea of that chorus started in Mobile. And we when I got to Nashville, he got in the room. We met at Rhythm House with Jesse Frazier and Ernest,
Mhm.
and who were amazing. I, I feel like the luckiest man in the world when it comes to first co-writes in
I
Nashville.
mean, literally, like Ernest, are you kidding me? Okay, so wait,
Like
what year was this when you actually wrote the song?
um we wrote One Mississippi or the other song.
Right, One Mississippi.
One Mississippi, we wrote it in March March of 2021.
Okay.
It was released in September of 2021 and reached number one, I believe, in the early part of 2022. So
Wow.
yeah, it's already been that long now.
Wait, so okay, so backtracking. So you was that your first
Well,
write in Nashville?
that was my first write in Nashville.
That's so wild. That's so wild. And did Kane like was he the one that picked the other co-writers?
Yes, ma'am. Like he when he hit me up, he's like, I'm gonna hit you back later. And part of me is like, he's not gonna text me back. But he did. He's like, yeah, I got some pretty important writers that are gonna join us. Pretty successful writers. They're gonna be in the room with us. So just bring your A game, and if all goes well, I'll sign you to my publishing company.
Oh my
And
God.
so, and that was something I had no idea that I had no idea he had a publishing company. I didn't,
Wow.
I knew his music, but
Yeah.
so it's all very movie like to me. It's just the way it all happened, and you couldn't make it up.
Yeah, a lot of people would pay for that to be their storyline. Because it's hard to make it in Nashville as a songwriter. Um, but okay, so how far after the song did he sign you? Was it pretty quick or?
We he decided that he was going to sign me like right away, but I didn't sign until maybe we wrote it in March and I signed in June.
Wow. So it's Verse 2 Music and Sony Music Pub. It's like a
It's a
collab.
JV.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of my halfway through my third year signed to Verse Two.
Wow. That's really cool. So how is your average day like nowadays? Like, do you write 4 days a week,
I
7 days
write
a week?
usually 5 days a week, and most of them two a day, sometimes three.
Nice. That is so
I
exciting.
want to I want to get as much work done as possible. I've been blessed enough to have a few more major label cuts.
Mhm.
Um, to come in with a number one hit is unheard of, and usually by the time most writers in town get their number one, they've already had time to years to build up a network of trusted songwriter partners and collaborators, and they know artists, and I had no idea what I was doing, and, and I got thrown into the big leagues, still learning how to what the league. I knew how to play the game, but I didn't understand what the league was. So
Right.
I'm learning the business and as I go, and by now, you know, I'm blessed to be very busy, and in regards to just keeping that calendar full.
Mhm.
There, I don't have many weeks where I'm just like I don't have anything to do, and I let me. And if I did, I would still be writing music by myself. But I'm grateful to have several people that enjoy writing with me, and it's just been amazing to become a part. And I feel like I'm still becoming a part of it,
Right.
but more so than ever, I feel like I'm becoming a part of the Nashville songwriter community.
Yes. And it's always evolving. You just never know who's the next, big writer.
Mhm.
Okay, so did you move to Nashville like immediately? How did that happen? Like when you do you miss
Uh, it was I wanted to move immediately, but I pretty much took all the money that I had left, um, pretty much like my little savings that I had up, and because my credit was horrible, and my wife's credit was actually decent, and mine was horrible, and I didn't have proof of income.
Mhm.
It was trying to find a place to live up here, and
Right.
luckily, a songwriter friend of mine put me in touch with somebody who rents out homes, and they were like, I was like, listen, if I could give you half a year worth of rent, can you let me come stay in your place? And they ended up being really great people. We're good friends now, and
Wow.
it just it was probably we moved we moved up here literally like the day before One Mississippi came out on the radio.
Wow. What does it feel like listening to it on the radio?
It it was well at the time my mother passed away literally 12 days before
Oh my gosh.
me and Kane connected.
Wow, that's
So it my mind I'm still in recovery from that.
I understand.
But at that time, with that being so fresh, it was really hard and still is really hard to enjoy it in the capacity that I would have, because
Yeah.
I lost my mom and my sister in 2 years.
Oh,
And so half of my immediate family is gone, and wasn't here to see this happen for me. When my mother passed away, I was unemployed. And
oh
12 days
my
later, I was being
God.
invited to Nashville.
Wow.
So
Do you feel
everything
like
changed.
you feel like you're probably just being led, but like you don't really know what's going on?
Always, my whole life. I was just having this conversation with a friend. I'm like, I'm not the most confident person as far as just me and myself. I've always been a little bit insecure, but when it comes to music, I've always been extremely sure of myself. Not that I was the best singer or the best writer,
Mhm.
but I always just knew from a child. I was like, I'm gonna be somebody someday, and I'm gonna do something important in music, and just wait and see. And everybody's like, well, everybody wants to do that. You should get a real job. And I'm like, this is my only skill.
Don't
And
listen to them.
this is and this is all I want to do. This is all I've ever wanted to do.
Yeah.
And nothing else really makes me happy. And so it's been, I don't know. I definitely anytime I think about those times, we have free will as human beings, but there were times I could have went a total different direction, and something just kind of nudged me, whether like somebody didn't make an appointment and it got canceled, or this or a relationship ended, or come what may. Like it was like I could see slow shifts, like, hey, maybe you should go this direction, and all of a sudden I'm
Wow.
in Nashville. I'm flying by the seat of my pants, being
Cool, like
guided by
like
the
that
spirit.
happened. Wow, that's crazy. What like do you feel that your musical influences set you apart from other like in the writing room? I feel like there's always artists that bring writers that bring different aspects into the room, and I'm sure that helps. I always feel like that's helpful if like people have a different musical background than
For
just
sure,
yeah.
for sure. I think I always one of my things I used to always say back home. I'll never say I'm the best, but I will dare to say that I am the most versatile.
That's awesome.
And
Such a good skill to like do everything and know more genres than just country. Well, country can't even really be defined right now. It's so all over the place. That's kind of cool.
it's cool to see different people accepting it now.
Hmm.
And I was lame for liking country music when I started liking it. My friends were like, "Oh, that's so lame," and now everybody's congratulating me. All my friends,
That's
they was like, "I
awesome.
can't believe it worked."
What do you feel like is the hardest part of being a songwriter? And then like what do you feel like is the best part?
The hardest part is the fact that we like any other, like being an artist or a producer. I think even more so than an artist and producer, because most of the, if we're working with artists, especially if they have deals, they have a machine behind them. And not saying that people that are signed as songwriters don't have a machine behind them, but it's a different type of situation. And producers get paid, to make the album. They don't just get paid if it sells.
Right.
And but the songwriters, if we're blessed enough to have a pub deal like I do, we collect the draw. And especially if we're blessed enough to get a #1 hit like I did,
Mhm.
you collect royalties. And I'm grateful that I get paid for music. But um understanding that in today's world of streaming, it's really, really hard for us to make money. And most songwriters aren't as fortunate as I was to come in like I did. And
No.
I'm talking brilliant songwriters that
Yeah.
deserve that success just as much or even more than I do. And so to me, it's like I don't feel like we and of course the money's not right, but that's because of streaming. And we're all still figuring that out. But I think we put ourselves out there so much every day. We turn in like 100 songs a year or more, and we put our heart and soul into it to have most of them be rejected.
One of my
And
questions was if you could have one song go number one that hasn't gone number one, which one would it be that you wrote on?
um,
Because it's so hard. It really is almost like just preference. Like music, it's art. It's like there's no right or wrong. It's just what generally goes, you know, more
there
popular.
is one song that hasn't been cut yet.
Oh shoot.
That I technically I wasn't in the room, but it's a co-write credit with the lead singer of Shine Down,
Wow.
um, as well as 3 other people. They had already written a song like 5 to 7 years ago, and but they weren't sold on the lyrics. So I personally rewrote all the lyrics,
Whoa.
and I wrote it as a pitch to Kane, and he passed on it unfortunately. But I'm like, I think this song has something to it. So I think it was pitched to Jelly Roll. Um, I'm not sure who else, but I mean, it's called "Till the Wheels Fall Off." And there's quite a few. I got one called "Self Driving Truck."
I want to hear these songs. That's awesome.
It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff, and that's just the country stuff. I got music in Spanish. I
Mhm.
have some reggae
I
stuff.
was gonna say you have like different cuts coming out and they're not all country. So you could talk about it if you want to.
But I don't have any cuts as far as like the reggae or the Hispanic stuff yet. Even though I do have some people that I'm talking to, which is cool, building some relationships. I have some cuts on a rapper named Easy McCoy.
Hmm.
Um, he has quite a few monthly listeners on Spotify, but he's mainly like focused on sync, and like his music is in UFC commercials,
Yeah.
ESPN, all kind of stuff. And he's just a sync monster, and he's like, which just a great guy, very talented, very focus driven, and very generous when it comes to information. He was very gave me a lot of knowledge. But no, I have 3 songs that I wrote with him that we don't know when exactly they're going to be released. I think he's going to put them out, as singles, but they're being pitched for, by a sync company as we speak. And the and 2 of which I'm the featured artist. I'm a featured on like singing the chorus.
Oh, nice. I was gonna ask you about your artistry.
Yeah, I'm trying to write myself into a situation if I can. Trying to pull a Hardy or an Ernest,
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the way to go. Is
for
that
sure.
how much is I was gonna well, I had a couple questions, but we you could talk about your whole the artist side of things, but do you have any interest? I was gonna say now, like being in Nashville, you're exposed to so many sides of the industry. Like, do you have passion for other parts like production and all that, or is it mostly songwriting, artistry?
I
Or like
love it all.
yeah.
I love it all. I love every aspect of it, and I like being able to be hands on with any aspect of it that I can be. When I got to town, I started learning how to track, how to do my own demos, and I still do them from time to time when I have an idea that's different than when I'm co-writing with people. Like it's been production, learning about production has been really fun and very beneficial
Cool.
to the way I write songs and the way I hear things. Um, I just like publishing in general.
Mhm.
Like I enjoy the collect, like the just the collective of songwriters when it comes to different publishing houses and
Mhm.
being able to get a bunch of talents together and let's get some stuff cooking. I like anybody that's making something out of nothing.
Yeah. So cool. Do you still have a dream co-write, or have you had your dream co-write?
My dream co-write, um, it, it, anybody whose last name is Marley and
That's
and
awesome.
and and, and Bruno Mars.
Wow, that's super sick. I haven't had anyone say anything like that.
Yeah,
That's
bro, like I
awesome.
just I don't know. My musical taste is so scattered. But to me, I think the he's the best modern artist just doing it. Period in music today. I might not make music just like him, but it's like you know, to me, he's like the prince of this generation.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, and very widely liked. So yeah.
But
Um,
in country, so many, so many. I haven't had my dream co-write yet. Hmm. Chris Stapleton, hands down. If he don't need me, but it'd be so fun, Chris.
Chris Stapleton, Hardy. Wow,
Yeah,
so many talented people out there.
so
Um,
many.
do you have a favorite like place to perform, and like do you I always like to ask writers because sometimes they say they like to just listen to the song, they don't love to perform it, but do you like performing the songs you wrote? And is like the listening room, is that like your favorite place to play?
No, I personally don't. I enjoy. I won't say that I don't enjoy writers' rounds, but I do not enjoy them as much as I enjoy performing with a live band.
Right.
Me as a performer, that's my um that's my territory.
Hmm.
But as far as sitting on a stage with an acoustic guitar, I've done it my whole life because I've had to.
Yeah.
But it's it's a little boring at times. I enjoy hearing other people's song, but I'm ADD and I'm fidgety and I'm
Hmm.
trying to,
Hmm.
and but no, I love the listening room. But I think the funnest time I've had performing probably was I did like this outdoor venue where I got to sing with Austin Mahone and my boy Al King. But I that was very fun. But I did a gig at Third and Lindsley with my friend Maggie Ball.
Nice.
And that was really really fun. I got to play with her band, with the house band that she made got together for the show,
Hmm.
and that it just felt way more natural. And
It's
that I
a,
love people working together.
yeah. So I guess in like 5 years, your dream is to be a even more successful writer and a known artist, I guess.
If God is willing, yeah, if God is willing, maybe even sooner than that, right?
Yeah,
Who knows?
that's true. So are you actively working on like your own content and songs, or?
Yeah, well, technically, yeah. I just released a song with a buddy of mine. I was a featured artist. He's a rapper. My buddy Kusali, we released a blues song called Delta Rain.
Yes, that is so awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna be releasing music here and there, and as it makes more sense to push it, as I figure out how to do this better,
Hmm.
over the next few years, you're gonna see a lot more music from me. But I want to be able to stay writing for other people as well as myself if I can, for sure.
So exciting. I love that. Um, so a couple more questions and then we'll wrap it up. But as far as all the unsigned writers out there that didn't have the journey that you did, do you feel like there's one piece of advice or a direction that you could point them in to help us
Yes.
all? I mean, it's pretty much like when you get a cut, all these publishing deals are going to reach out to you, but until you get that,
And even so, just think about what's the best for me. You got to think about what's the best decision for you because for me, I didn't have any income. So I needed that publishing deal.
Right.
I needed that draw. And it kept me from being homeless. You know what I mean? And I say if you are if you're writing and your calendar is full, look for pub deals. Don't be in a rush. Make sure the situation fits you and it benefits you. But I say just become a part. Do what I've been doing since I got to town after One Mississippi is meeting songwriters, meeting as many artists and producers and anybody as you can. Shake hands and just be friendly.
Yeah.
Keep going. That's the only way to do it. Some of the best writers in town and most connected writers in town don't have publishing deals.
I know. It's really, yeah. There's benefits to it for sure, but networking and hard work will get you probably further than anyone could monitoring your calendar.
And I know that might sound generic, but I mean it's the truth. Like the only way that this won't work is if you quit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's awesome. I was gonna ask, because I'm starting to ask people this just because I'm curious, like your thoughts on social media. Do you feel like social media is a great networking tool, or do you feel like just going out and about throughout town is way better? Because it's really hard for people like you that don't live in town. And some people say move to town and that's your answer, start networking. And then some people say social media is awesome, do it your way from remote.
Um, Social media is how I got here, you know.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a bunch of followers. I didn't have a bunch of views. I just reached out to somebody with something that was good enough to catch their attention. And there's plenty of people that could do the same thing. It might not happen in the same way, but if you can get eyes on your page, that's
Yeah.
a victory.
Yeah.
And you might notice more blue check marks in your looking at your story,
Hmm.
the post, and that's what started happening to me.
Hmm.
And I started noticing record executives and stuff like that. It's just social media is just as much a part of it as everything else. I hate to say because I'm 32 and I hate to have to do it,
Yeah.
but it's a necessary evil in today's world for
It's
sure.
life changing, so it's 100% worth it. Wow. Okay. That's so awesome. Um, is there anything else that you could tell us that's coming down the line or no?
Ooh. Uh,
I mean, I know you
I had,
have Noah
I
and
had a cut that fell through, so I'm like, I got a few like big holds, but I don't want to jinx it, and I can't really talk about it. But just know that I have some holds on a couple of very successful artists that are amazing artists, and one of which I'm really excited about because he's just a cool guy. But yeah, there's a few things that are going to be coming out, and be on the lookout for a few more things coming out just from me. You
Yeah.
might see another song or two. I might even be rapping. Who knows?
Ooh, sweet. I'm so excited. 2024 is gonna be huge.
I'm excited about it too.
Yeah. So I usually wrap up the interviews with three questions. I ask everyone these three questions. Favorite up and coming artist, favorite artist of all time, and then favorite place to hang out in Nashville.
What was the second one?
Favorite artist of all time, which is probably Bruno Mars for you.
No, Bob Marley is my favorite artist
Oh
of all.
yeah, okay. Right.
My favorite up and coming artist.
You.
Ooh,
It's yourself.
I don't know. There is I th- that's hard. It's probably like two or three that I like, but one of them is a good friend of mine, Mike Parker. Um, he was on American Idol and The Voice.
Yes,
I
yeah.
forget, I forget who he just signed with, but I know he works with Jimmy Robbins a lot, and he we have a few nice songs together, and I think to me he's the country John Legend. I think he has a great voice, and just he's just a great guy.
That's awesome. We'll give him a
Yeah,
shot.
yeah, I love Mike Parker.
And- Okay, great. And then your favorite place to hang out in Nashville.
My favorite place to hang out in Nashville is My boy John Lucci's Studio 5301.
Nice.
I
Studios
love it.
are fun. That's awesome. I never had someone say that before.
Well, because they never been to this studio. This studio has um Rolling Stone magazine covers in the floor of
Really?
like any artists you could think of from between like the 70s to 2018.
That's
It's
special. Wow.
really cool. And just the studio is a vibe, and you never know who you'll run into there.
Wow. That's so awesome. Well, thank you so much for jumping on, and we're a big fan of your work. And good luck with everything coming your way.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you guys.
Thanks so much.